everyone, Samu here, welcome back to another video, and I'm here in Osaka again in this beautiful alley, and what better place than this to talk about this little camera and also this one, which is mine. And now I'm looking at this and I'm like, did I made a mistake? So today I want to do a little comparison because comparisons are fun. This won't be a very technical review or comparison video. I want to share my experiences and thoughts and share how it's like to shoot these cameras in terms of practicality, like going out, shooting on the street. Alex is filming me, this is his camera, not mine. And he will also try my camera.
Don't drop my camera.
So he will also try my camera, which is the M262.
Yes.
Which is basically the M240, which came out before this camera. But this came out after the M240. It has less features, so that means it's better, right? And the M10 is, it's already like 3-4 years old. Or
yeah,
5.
it's about 4 years old, I think.
Yeah, but it's the current best Leica M body, I would say.
Yeah.
They have MP, of course. Whoa. This is real. This is street life. We are going to go and shoot a little bit, exchange cameras, and then we will look at some images. Alex will give his opinion on my camera, and I will give my opinion on his camera, and hopefully I will not regret spending 2K or almost 3K instead of 5K. And these are still like used market prices, so
yeah,
it's very expensive, guys. And I will also try to show you like side-by-side comparisons, so the same shot, same lens, but different camera. Because I think what most people don't consider is the color science, how the colors look. And yeah, specs are kind of important, but to me, how the image looks and feels is even more important. Because both are 24 megapixels, so we should expect the same image quality, but I think in terms of color they will be different. And how they render red or blue, that's the kind of stuff that I get off of.
Samuel Street Life, you know, he's like the new Eric Kim. He's kind of like, you know, killing in the street photography world.
Okay, now we are going to swap cameras, and I'm going to use Alex M10 and he's going to use my M262. Yeah, let's swap cameras.
Okay. And I wish I could use your lens, but I will use my lens.
That's, I need the Leica lens on my Leica body. Oh. Okay, so let's swap lenses.
Okay.
No! Right. Come on, my sensor is exposed. Oh, it's your sensor.
Wait, okay. And
this is some kind of Leica porn going on here.
Horrible.
Wait, can you hold your lens?
Okay.
Let's do our first impression now before we go out and shoot. Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so how do you feel holding my fatty ass M262?
It's fatter, but it's lighter. And it's not really noticeable until you hold both cameras back to back, the differences in the weight. Honestly, I don't feel that big of a difference. And I usually put a case on my M10. I took it off for him. And when I put my case on, then it's thicker anyways. So at this point, I don't feel like it's any thicker than when I put a case on my M10.
Yeah, and I can see how a case would make this a little bit more comfortable, but I'm used to this size.
So the viewfinder is smaller. It's definitely a smaller viewfinder.
No, it's not smaller. It's great. It's awesome.
Yeah, this one I think is 0.68, but the viewfinder itself is smaller, but the frame lines are wider, I think.
I have a 28. I use a 28 today, and on my 262, the frame lines are right at the edge, and if you have the time to press the viewfinder to your eye, then you can see the frame lines, almost all of them. But in practice, if you're shooting quick, like maybe shoot in an angle, you really have to guess your framing. So I actually like 35 more on my camera. Oh yeah, the 28 frame lines are a little bit more visible here. So if you shoot 28 a lot, this might be, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it's a little nicer, I have to say. I don't think it's 2,000 grand nicer. All right, we are now here in Shin. Okay, so we're now here in Shinsekai and we're going to test the color science of the M262 and the M10. And yeah, let's shoot some colorful pictures and compare the color science, because color science is really the most important thing here, you know? Colors are very important. So we're doing a little dynamic range test and we're shooting this alley here, which isn't super bright at the moment, but when the sun comes back, we will take pictures here and compare the dynamic range, how much of the shadows we can pull up and how much highlight recovery we can do. We won't use the same lens for this one, so the focal length will be a little different, but it's just a dynamic range test. Okay, so you have been shooting with my M262. What are your thoughts?
I do notice that the body is, a little bit bigger, but I also like to put a case on my M10, so kind of the size difference is not really that much of a factor. I usually shoot single shot only with my M10.
Yeah, me too.
And it's very quick, and I just shoot. With this camera, it is a little bit slower, but it's not like you can't shoot continuously, but it is a little bit slower. There is a delay.
I actually didn't experience like an improvement here. It just felt nicer because it's quieter and it's this nice click. And on my camera it's always this,
Yeah.
And then this is like this nice.
Yeah.
It sounds a little bit more like digital, but still mechanical.
Right. It has a digital reaction.
Yeah.
With an analog feel. I don't know if that makes sense.
The shutter is really what I like about my M10, is that I'm able to fire off a lot of shots. The sound is great on my M10. It feels like a typewriter. And this one feels just like an older typewriter. No offense.
Shit like a photographer say.
Did I mention I shoot Leica?
I don't find my M262 to be slow, to be honest. I shot some protests, and what I noticed though is if you shoot like 8 or 10 frames in a row, then sometimes the buffer can't keep up. So I would never shoot in burst mode. On this camera it's probably better. I didn't test it. So that's the downside. So the M262 is definitely a single shot camera where you don't like spray and pray. So these are the backs of the camera. And this screen on the M10, is much nicer, sharper. The screen on the M240 isn't bad, but it's very hard to judge focus. It's good for judging exposure, but the pictures also don't look anything like the raw files on the computer. And the colors are more saturated than they really are. I don't know about the M10, but the color accuracy on this screen is not great. So I only use it to see if I got the right moment.
I mean, the display quality on the back is different, but I'm sure the files, when you show them side by side on the computer, I doubt many people are going to notice much of a difference, especially in this bright daylight. And I feel like if it's bright daylight, if it's nice, weather, and you're keeping your ISO low, then I really don't think it matters which camera you get. But I shoot a lot at night, and I really shoot a lot at night, and that's very important for me. Yeah.
So if you could choose again between these two, you would probably still go for the M10?
I would go for my M10. I love my M10. It really is my dream camera. And that's the thing is like, it's not just that I wanted a digital Leica, it's that I wanted the M10. And I knew that if I compromised on, getting a 240, because I was thinking, I'll get a 240 or I'll get a 262, or even a MD 262. I was thinking about all those cameras, and but in the end, it's like every time I touched and I shot with an M10, it's like this is the camera that if I didn't buy it right away, if I had gotten a 240, I would have said to myself like, okay, I have a 240 now, but in the future when the M10 price drops more, then I'll trade my M240 in and I'll get an M10. I knew that would be the mindset that I would have. So if it's in your heart, if you have both cameras and it's really not in your heart to choose one or over the other, then just get the 262 or a 240 if you're not being picky. But if you are picky and you do have this kind of long-term mindset about it, then yeah, save up your money more and get the M10. But some people, I can go on and on for this. I can go on and on forever. But some people, they might want to prioritize getting a good lens, like Sam did. He's got the Elmerit, and that's an amazing Leica lens. And I'm very, very jealous. If Sam were to be like, okay, Alex, you can keep my 262 and my Elmerit, and I'll take your M10, I'd have to actually think about that. I would have to think about that for a moment, because that lens is amazing. And that's a lens that you can keep forever and ever and ever, longer than you can keep an M10. Even though I'm very satisfied with the M10, and I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. God damn it. See, this is a real legit issue, a real problem, and I think that this video is very helpful for people that are thinking about, these two generations of camera, the 240 included, right? You can't go wrong, but I think once you look at the files, once you look at the photos, then I think you might be able to notice some differences with the color science and
that's
maybe
for sure.
The dynamic range.
The question is which one you do prefer, and if you can live with the slightly more noise on my camera.
I shoot at night, so therefore M10. That's it.
Yeah.
I shoot at night a lot, and I care about highlight retention a lot. Yeah. So, what's your tolerance for the ISO quality range?
My limit is ISO 2500, sometimes 3200, but this camera, I don't know if it's just my camera, has a tendency to get heavy banding, or there are like vertical lines when in the noise, which is hard to get rid of. So I tend to shoot below 2500. I know you have no problem shooting at 6400.
Yeah, and higher really. If I'm doing black and white, then I don't have no problem doing 12,800.
Yeah, I would never go to 6400 on this camera. It will be too noisy. But yesterday we went out in the night shooting at f2 on the f2 lens. It was fine. You get a little bit of noise, but you can get away with ISO 2000. I tested the live view, and it is nice to be able to see what the lens is seeing.
If you're shooting wide open,
or just to have like very accurate composition, because this is a rangefinder and it will never be as accurate as a DSLR where you look through the lens. And having the live view option is kind of nice. But I could never shoot on an LCD screen. LCD screens are so amateur. Okay, so I can't let Alex get away with this beautiful M10 and his nice viewfinder and snappiness, because the M262 actually has a huge benefit over the M10. Yeah, how do you like that battery life, huh? How do you like the battery life? Battery life. The battery life on the M262 is amazing. It lasts you easily a day, maybe even 2 or 3. And on a normal week where I don't really go out to shoot a lot, I never charge my battery. Maybe I charge my battery once a week. And Alex and I, we went out doing some street shooting last Friday. And I think we started afternoon, ended the day in the night, so maybe like 6 hours. And I started the day with 35% battery life. At the end, I was at 10%. And I think Alex started with 50?
I started at 100%.
Okay, so he started at 100%.
And I ended, actually, literally the last shot I took,
yeah.
my battery died.
Oh, so his battery actually died that day?
100 to 0 in 6 hours.
Mine was
and I
still
shoot a
at-
lot, so that's,
Yeah. But to be fair, after I got the little warning, I switched to my GR just because I didn't want the camera to die yet. But yeah, the battery life is amazing. Let me actually show you the battery. Here it is, nice and big. Don't do the
That's what she
childish
said?
joke. Here's Alex M10. Oh, so thin. But look at this battery, it's also so thin.
Yeah, and expensive.
That's no fun.
You know how much a second battery will cost you? Another battery?
Probably the same as mine, so.
$150.
Oh man, yeah, I know. Battery is expensive. So that's another thing to consider. If you have the M10, you probably need an extra battery. If you have the M262, you might want to get a second one just to have a peace of mind. But to be honest, I never used more than one battery in a day. And I had big shooting days with this camera. So I don't think you actually need another battery. So yeah, sorry Alex, but this camera is a little better when it comes to battery life, but all the other stuff is kind of nice on this camera. Oh shit! So okay, I want to give you my final conclusion because I was really scared trying the M10 today because I had a feeling that I might not feel happy with my M262 anymore. Such a first world privilege problem.
But it's our money, right? So when you spend a lot of money, you have a right to be picky.
Yeah,
People want to harp on us and say like, oh, you got a Leica and you're just like this snob and stuff. And we love cameras, right? We have a right to be picky about
I want to
the cameras
have
that we love.
the camera that makes me, happy and shoot forever. I want
Right.
to have a camera that I can at least shoot 5 or 6 years.
Easily.
And the last one was my Ricoh GR, the first one. I shot that for 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
And since then I haven't had a camera yet that I kept for so long. So maybe the search still continues. So here's another thing. Yesterday I talked to a friend, shout out to Eastblock Boy, and he told me, you could sell your M262, sell your Elmerit lens, sell your 50 Summerit, and then buy a brand new Leica Q2, make it a business investment, so I get the tax back, so I would pay like 4,000 euro, and then I would still have probably $1,000 left. And when he said that, I was like, no, why did you say that? I'm not really considering it, but
It never ends when you
it
have
never
to think
ends.
Today I'm going to talk about the Leica Q2.
The only thing I don't like about my M262 is, I feel the limitations more often than I would want to, and I tell myself, it's fine, just treat it as a film camera. Don't
Right.
go above 1600 or 2000.
And on film, like 1600 is quite a lot.
I know, yeah. So if you want a camera that is digital but feels like an analog camera,
Right.
then the M262 is totally fine. Technically, I'm sure the pictures will be pretty similar in terms of sharpness, dynamic range. This might be better, but I really like the colors of the M262. So I want to see what the color science comparison will show. And based on that, I will probably reconsider. No,
Don't say that.
No. This video is not about me struggling and with my decisions. Fuck.
Got him.
So we're going to end it here. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful for anyone considering buying these cameras. Honestly, the price difference is not worth it for me to get the M10. If I would start over, maybe I would then consider it, but I already have this, so and anyone watching who thinks, these Leica snobs, why do they talk about Leica? Leica sucks, just buy a Fuji and buy a Canon. It doesn't matter really which camera you get. And I shot my Fuji X-H1 yesterday, the whole day doing photography at Universal Studios in a theme park, and it was great. If I would have brought my Leica to the theme park and it was raining that day, it wouldn't survive that day. So Fuji, Canon, Nikon, you know, these are, I would say, just they're like cameras, you know. They give you everything you need and everything you might ask for. But these cameras are more for the soul, and this is again shit Leica photographers say. But it really does make you more
Thoughtful about your shots.
thoughtful about your shots. It's a different experience, and it's nice.
It's a different tool for a different job.
It's a different tool for a different job. Yeah, I wouldn't shoot like a professional job with this camera. Maybe if I get like really good using it, and no, but yeah, it's fun. These are just cameras, nice cameras. And thank you, Alex,
You're
for
welcome.
letting me try your camera.
You're welcome.
And,
I'm gonna take your Elmerit. Thank you very much. Goodbye. You have my Voigtlander.
Yeah, take that shitty Voigtlander.
Hey, I like the lens. I like this lens. I'm struggling to choose if I should keep this lens or not because I do like some of its qualities. And if you'd like to hear more about this lens, then visit my channel, Alex on Streets. I will have more videos about the Leica M10, about all of my lenses that I have and my gear and how I use the gear, and not
Look
just
how he's taking advantage of this situation.
about gear, but about why it's important in your artistry, in your documentary work. Okay, thank you very much. Stay humble. Thanks, Sam. I'll see you again. Goodbye.